All these souls who spend 23 hours a day online playing computer games, violent games, most of them have got some sort of disorder or something in their normal life, and they are on medication. So once I can find out who they are and tally what medication they're on, then I can get in touch with them in the guise of a friend. I am a friend, but I'm in the guise of a friend who's going to use them for stuff. Then the ones who aren't out on operations, it's going to be like a hive colony, and so all the ones who aren't out actually on manoeuvres, there's going to be like huge screen TVs where they can play Grand Theft Auto on fucking 3D plasma and shit like that. More than they've got at home in the mummy and daddy's house. But no, it's conditioning violence. You know what I mean? I've set up specific missions with Grand Theft Auto for specific missions that are mirroring the stuff we're going to do in real life. So yeah, it's like a cyber dry run. That sounds like back to my alcoholic days, but that was a cider dry run. I had to get to the off license at fucking 10 o'clock and you were knackered. You can hear the sirens now. I think it's time to get back indoors and get the fucking shutters down, man. I'll see you later.
Okay. You're starting some kind of organisation, you were saying earlier. What's that about? Because I know nothing about it.
Well, it's called the Movement. Unfortunately, the only people at my availability come from the bowels of society, and I didn't quite like the connotations of calling it the bowel movement. A great hero of mine, William Wallace, I think it was, he said, all men die, but only a few men truly live. And that was just before they ripped the fucking shit out of him. So, it didn't work too well for him. But the point being, this was a planet that was bestowed to us, or we just stumbled upon, or we mutated into this beautiful place, and all of a sudden it's been taken over by money men and greed and drugs and armies and war and all the wrong type of mentality. Over the years, I think you look at the likes of South Africa, the peaceful protests, they don't work sitting down in the road, they just mow you over. So what, the only way to beat the warmongers is to blow the fuck out of them. Looking at more genteel ways of doing it, and without causing too much trouble, especially for myself. I'll get other people to blow the shit out of them.
You're recruiting like an army, or?
Well, I wouldn't like to say an army. I'm not allowed to say an army by law, you know what I mean? It's against the law to recruit your own army, unless you're the government and you've got the army, you know what I mean?
It seemed to me like he was going for armed rebellion, which doesn't strike me as your normal cup of tea.
Well, I don't have a normal cup of tea, do I? You've got to keep people keen. You got, one time have juice, have coffee, have water.
It sounds like he's trying to recruit you into his...
No, he's not recruiting me. I think he looks at me as a sort of a consultant, a sort of freelance. Crazy, everything's a fucking conspiracy according to this guy. But he comes in handy for me.
What are you using him as a tool, or...?
Well, he's not a tool, he's an alright guy. I suppose he's a bit of a tool and being a scouser, you know what I mean? I have to keep my fucking pockets close by, you know what I mean? I'll make him sit on the other couch. We're similar size though, so it's good for swapping clothing, which is always a bonus, you know. That's one thing, you know. You want people find their mates by, common ground or what bands they like or this or that. Find them the same size, and then if you're stuck for a fucking shirt on Friday night, you sort of just go, oh Jimmy, can I borrow your beautiful purple paisley shirt? Of course you can, man. Don't rip it up like you did with the last one. I didn't rip it up, I break it into the dog pound. Yeah, that kind of stuff. But, because I know what's going on, I know the real truth behind everything. And I think he tries to pick my brain. But I've got a crash helmet on most of the time, so there's no chance.
Is that the one with the silver paper on the inside?
Silver paper, mate. It's more than silver paper. It's fucking embossed silver paper, I'll have you know. It's good stuff. If you look closely, I mean, it's the best stuff. It's Toblerone. The inside wrapper off the big holiday ones. You get that, you temper it down, you can make a beautiful image. And like the Swiss don't have a proper army because, there's a lot going on in the Toblerones. You think of anywhere in the world where he exports a chocolate like that. It's a strange, unique thing, a Toblerone, isn't it?
Yeah.
From the taste, yeah, chocolate and funny little nuggly bits.
Mm.
Could be like fucking children's teeth or something. It's not, I'm not telling you what it is. It's fucking a lot worse than children's teeth, believe you me. And then the shape, the shape of the bar, weird. The name, you look at Toblerone.
So do you reckon that the Swiss have got some drug or something in Toblerone?
Of course they have, mate. I'll tell you what, you sit with anyone, I don't care who it is,
You sit with them and you share a Toblerone. Even the small ones, like they're around £1 for the little one, you know, come on. You sit and share a Toblerone with someone, and as you just have the last triangle each, ask them to spell it, and they'll struggle. Because, you know, it takes a couple of minutes for the nougat-based poison to get into the system. And
Nougat-based poison?
Yeah, man.
What, you reckon that...
No, I don't reckon, mate. Don't have any doubts about this. Where's the Toblerone factory?
Switzerland, I presume.
Yeah, man. Alright, you go to Belgium, you can go on a tour of the Lindor factory, but Lindor, you know, they make stuff like that. You go to America, you can go on a tour of the Hershey factory. You go to, I think it's just outside Dundee, you can go on a tour of the Chocolate Haggis factory. Do you know where the Hadron Collider is? The Hadron Collider. They make like little miniature things and wormholes and space and time rips and stuff like that. Well, the Toblerone factory's underneath that. That's how secure it is. There's no fucker going in and out there, but, you know, popping in and having a free bar, no chance, man. There's a different way. I mean, you know, you've got your Scientology cults. They call it a cult. I mean, is Catholicism a cult? You know, it's the same fairy tale, just a different fucking angle. You know, is Islam a cult? Or is it a lion out of the Witch and the Wardrobe thing?
Well, so you think education was a step backwards?
Oh, crazy. Of course it was, man. You go to the schools, you know, you get your kids at home and they're beautiful little bairns and they're full of joy and praying, you know, and playing about, and they go to school and within a couple of years they come home and they're effing and blinding and they've picked up bad habits and they're answering you back and they think they're smarter than you. Education's terrible. And you get them, they're going to school, they're at home, they're safe, they're sound. You get them in school, they're getting abused, they're getting bullied, they're getting picked on, they're getting kidnapped and murdered and they never found the body, but I had an alibi, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, Christ. Education's got a lot to answer for. And there's probably teachers who've got the answers, but they're not telling. Anyway, how do you like it stirred? Clockwise, anti-clockwise?
Anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise. I'm just checking if you've got that little, you know, American sympathies. I should have said counterclockwise.
You're not keen on the Americans?
No, it's not that I'm not keen on them. They're just a bunch of raping, pillaging, murder. Yeah, he's got some interesting ideas. I don't know what they are because they're all wrapped up in little balls of fucking confusion. And I mean, he says I'm paranoid.
He said you were paranoid to me.
Did he? How does he know? No, how does he know I'm paranoid?
He says because you freak out every time the phone rings or the doorbell goes.
Yeah, but I mean, him saying I'm paranoid makes me paranoid, so why he would think I was paranoid without knowing I was paranoid?
But he just noticed that you behave like a paranoid person with...
Well, maybe he was paranoid that I was.
Oh, he's paranoid as well, that's it. He's paranoid as you are.
We're a pair of paranoids, aren't we?
So I'm not going to get anything out of you about your relationship with the movement.
Oh, the movement. Ah, right. Well, I didn't know you knew, did I? I think he's, to be honest, I think he spends too much time with his hands on his joystick. I think he's sort of trying to translate the violence and the, you know, communal mob mentality of, well, just basically swamping an arcade or a mall or a street with bullets and rockets. He wants to bring that into, you know, daily life, which... I think, well, you know, that's like daily life reflecting a computer game, which is based on a computer game, which is a reflection of daily life. About 15 million people at the moment playing online, and I talk to these people, obviously after I've shot them and stamped on them, and you know, I'm like the top level you can get. So they suddenly want to be part of your crew, part of your gang on the game. And you're recruiting them by that, and as they're in there, you're saying, like, this is right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that heist. They don't realise it's actually a training ground for some of the ideas I've got. There's just millions and millions of these people, and all they want to do is sit all day and blow shit up. He's a professional gamer. I mean, what the fuck's that? 20 years ago? Professional gamers like you're a fucking prostitute or something.
What's a professional gamer?
It means he plays games professionally. He obviously doesn't. He's just sat in his room. He's a bit 13. He's probably wanking all over his mum's underwear as we speak. But
is that him falling over you?
No, that was me. You know, you got to feel the blood and taste it sometimes just to, you know, realise where you are in life. Remember, I mean.
Well, so that's your reality check using a cyber person to do your work for you.
Spend wasting time in A&E.
How can you say that?
I'm recruiting on Grand Theft Auto. Also, I'm.
But how can you say that that's a reality check when you're actually using a cyber personality to live your life for you? This.
I know, but it's a virtual reality check. You know what I mean? It's like
the reality checks in the post, mate. That kind of thing. Like, let's go back about 100 years or something. You had people who were a bit crazy, a bit cuckoo, who put in a mental hospital and drilled holes in their heads, lobotomised them. Even the women were having a baby out of wedlock, and they'd lock them up and say they were crazy. What do they do now? Give you a handful of pills, a handful of tablets. And I was in a psychiatric unit for a while. Obviously, I pretended to be crazy. I was like, I had to go undercover as an alcoholic for 15 years. And I nearly killed myself. I took it a bit too seriously. I nearly went over to the other side. So, borderline schizophrenia, this is the diagnosis. I go in there and there's 40 or 50 people, poor, lost souls, waiting to be released back into society so they can get home and play Grand Theft Auto. And what are these people doing? They're waiting for society to save them. They're waiting for the nurses and the health system and the government doesn't care. I care. And while I'm in there, I mean, they're under medication. It's almost like hypnosis. It's all bullshit. So the idea is that once they believe that I can talk to them and help them and cure them, then they'll do as they're told. So, I mean, I've got people on there, I could literally send him an in-game message, and the guy would walk out, probably somewhere in Arkansas or somewhere, or fucking, Uzbekistan, and he'd take his granddad's fucking Uzi and walk around the town centre and blast it. Well, I don't want indiscriminate stuff like that. I had a little experimental one earlier. There was one guy I put there, and I was just a bit of testing ground, and he only recruited like 15 of them. They fucked off to Kenya, started blowing up the fucking shopping centre. So I've got to be careful, you know what I mean? Because all of a sudden I had to like get in, onto the internet and make out it was fucking like an Al Qaeda branch, but I was a bit of a fuck up, you know what I mean? This thing about the alcoholism, I had a bit of too much fucking shandy that night, so I do apologise. You can edit it out, you know what I mean? If it wasn't directly me, I was just aware of this information.